We're continuing in chapter 10. This time we are finding arc measurements. Okay, the arc, so a central angle is an angle whose vertex is the center of the circle. Now, in order for that to be true, then these both have to be a radius. Okay, so the central angle is any angle whose vertex is the center of the circle. An arc is an unbroken portion of the circle. In other words, it is the part of the circle that we're segmenting out by using that central angle. There's other ways to get arcs as well, but understand it gives you two endpoints for that arc. So it's the unbroken portion, a slice of the circle. The thing we really need to gain from this one, though, is the arc has the same measure as its central angle. So what does that mean? Well, if I were to tell you that this angle was 70 degrees, then this arc would have a measure of 70 degrees as well. So the measure of the arc is the same as its central angle. Now, we have three different kinds of arcs that we look at. We have a minor arc, we have a major arc, and we have a semicircle. Now, minor arcs are where the central angle is less than 180 degrees, and therefore the arc's measurement is less than 180 degrees. So when I look here at this drawing, I see that I have a minor arc in CA there. Now, how do we label those, though? Well, there's a couple things. Number one, it's going to use two letters. Number two, order doesn't matter here. So, if I were to label a minor arc, I would do CA, and then I'm going to put an arc over the top. Or I can do AC with an arc over it. There's another one there. I could do EC or CA. Those are four examples of minor arcs. A major arc is where the central angle is greater than 180 degrees, meaning it's bigger than the diameter. Okay, so when we look at a major arc, there's a totally different way of labeling it. So a major arc is labeled with three capital letters. Here, order matters. And the middle letter gives the direction. So, for example, the first letter, like I always like to say, is the first letter is where you start. The second letter tells you the direction because you have to go through it. And then the third letter tells you where you stop. So, for example, if I wanted to, I could start at C. I could rotate around through D and stop at A. So that arc, that major arc, would be CDA. Okay? There's another one I could do. I could do something like E. I could do EDC. Another major arc. Starting at E, going through D, all the way back here to C. Okay, more than half the circle. And then the last one is what we call a semicircle. And those are central angles that equal 180 degrees. In other words, they have endpoints on the diameter. So here, again, we use three letters. And we use that middle letter to give the direction. So that we know which semicircle we're talking about. So here, there are actually two semicircles here. We have EDA and we have ECA. Okay, so those would be the two semicircles that we're talking about here. All right, so now let's use that to find some arc measurements. So the first one I'm going to start with, CA. So I'm starting at C. I'm going to A. The central angle is 42 degrees. So my arc, the measure of arc CA, is 42 degrees. Next one I'm going to go to is DE. So I'm starting at D, going up here to E. So this one, my central angle is a right angle. So therefore, this arc must be 90 degrees. Third one, EC. So I want to start at E. I want to go here to C. So I'm looking at this angle here. When I look here, I think to myself, okay, if this is 42, these two would make a right angle. So that means this has to be 48 degrees. So the measure of arc EC is 48 degrees. Now, the next one we're going to go to is a major arc, DFA. So I'm going to start here. I know that because it's using 3 letters, so it's not a minor arc anymore. So I'm going to go D, go through F, up here to A. So that would be 180. Why do I know that? Because DA is a diameter. Okay, so since D and A are both on the circle, it's a chord, but it goes through the center, so it's the diameter, and it'd be 180 degrees. My next one then, DFC, so I'm going to start at D, go through F all the way up here to C. Well, if you look at that, that is a combination of the 180 degrees plus the angle of 42 degrees, so that would be 222 degrees. And then my last one here is CFA. So I'm going to start here at C. I'm going to go all the way around through F, stop here at A. So that one we could do a couple different ways. If you notice, the only thing I'm missing on that whole picture is that angle right there. So one way I could do this is I could actually go 360 minus that angle, which is going to give us 318 degrees. The second way I could do it is I could just add up all the angles that are included. So 180 plus 90 plus 48. And again, that will get me 318. So here's the keys to this. Make sure you understand, what does a minor arc look like? What does a major arc look like? What does a semicircle look like? How do I write them? Those are the keys. How do I know what it's asking? Is it a minor arc, a major arc? So it all comes down to the way that it is written. So you got to be very careful and pay close attention to that piece.